Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Men Aloud Show. I hope you enjoyed last week's edition and you got something from it. I really enjoyed the feedback and the messages and the comments that flooded in really. So delighted to see that the show has got off and running because as I stressed last week on last week's show, I'm really passionate about this topic. I'm really passionate about the overall topic of mental health and psychology and motivation and human behavior, but especially right now we need to have a platform for men. And like I said last week, this isn't to discount women, but there's lots of coverage and platforms for women to express themselves, communicate. Plus, women are typically better at communicating about their emotions and their feelings, and dealing with mental health issues, whereas men are typically not. And that's why when you look at suicide rates, the rate among men is so high. I think last time I saw it, something like 70% or something like that of most suicides are down to men, and it comes down again to lack of communication skills, lack of an ability to share in emotions, too much emphasis on still the alpha male idea. It's such a crazy idea of this alpha male and how men are supposed to be. Bottom line, we're humans. Doesn't matter if you're male or female, you're a human being. You're emotional, you're run by your emotional state. So how you're feeling has a huge impact on everything that you're doing. Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your decisions, your behaviors, everything comes down to how you're feeling. And if you're suppressing negative emotions, that's creating a lot of negative energy, and that then is going to show into how you're living your life. And I want this platform, Men Aloud, this particular show, to give men again that platform. So I'm really excited with some of the contact I've had with various men over the last week, since last week's show, in terms of messages, emails, phone calls, people have contacted myself. People are sharing their stories with me, which I will share over the coming weeks in different episodes. Also, we've got some exciting guests to come on. We're going to speak about the area of mental health and men's mental health. But most importantly, men who are coming on who are going to be sharing their stories, their own stories of struggle. And I really want to encourage you to contact me and contact Lure Media TV if you are willing to share your story, okay? Because again, we need to inspire each other. We need to motivate each other. We need to help and support each other. This is what's important. The world has become so divided. The world has become a place where people typically just worry about their own patch. And that is never going to be a good situation for most people, because we need support. We're human beings. We need human connection. We need to support each other. We need to be there for each other. We need to use our ears. We need to listen to people. We need to be willing to listen to people. And again, that's what I want Men Aloud, this show, to be, as a platform for men to be heard, and also for a platform for men to be able to speak and be listened to and get good feedback. And that's what I'll be doing, is giving feedback, suggestions, advice, so on to various men of whatever age, doesn't matter what age, to help them in their journey to overcome obstacles they're currently experiencing. But also, as I said, I'm excited about some of the guests I've got lined up who are going to come on to share their struggles. I feel that people will always be inspired by other people. And that's why it's important we listen to other people, listen to their stories. And we get inspired by stories, So, for instance, certain people who have gone through very tough times, who've gone through depression, who've gone through suicidal thoughts, who've even had suicidal attempts, who've gone through the major struggles that are part and parcel, really, of the roller coaster that is life, and that they've been in very dark places, and how they came out of it and now are thriving. And in some cases, we're even helping other people with their mental health. Like last week, I shared briefly, a bit of my own background and my own story of, how from 7 years of age up to about 17, I was in a very dark place. I hated myself. I had no confidence. In essence, if you were going to label it, probably was depressed. And I did come very close to suicide a number of times. So I shared that briefly with you last week, but I created positive energy out of that. And I took control of that situation and turned it around, where I made myself feel better by taking certain actions. And I'm going to share some of them with you on this week's show. But I created positive energy from what was a very dark place, climbed my way slowly out of that dark place. And basically for over 25 years now, I've been dedicated to helping people all over the world to get out of dark places, to become the best they can be, to achieve their goals and dreams, how to be healthier, how to live optimally. Because the bottom line is, when you live optimally, when you're living an optimal life, you're going to feel better within yourself, because self-love is like a superpower. Okay, self-love is like a superpower. And when it comes to mental health, a lot of the situations with mental health is from a lack of self-love. Because when we have a lack of self-love, it impacts everything we do. It impacts our thought process, it impacts our mood, it impacts then our decisions, our thoughts, it impacts our actions. it impacts everything that happens in our life and our behaviors, of course. So it's important to get to a point where you do have self-love, and like I said, it is a superpower. And this is a big part of what I want men allowed to be, is that it will allow people to grow their self-love and to, as I said, express themselves and communicate better. Like the biggest problem in every form of relationship, it doesn't matter whether it's like an intimate relationship, an intimate relationship with your kids, relationship with family or friends, a work relationship, associates, any form of relationship. The biggest poison to any form of relationship is lack of communication. And again, men are so bad at this. And a lot of it will come down to, countries they're living in. Some people live in countries which freedom of expression is more normal versus like even pick somewhere like America where people will nearly say everything. They will say anything they want pretty much. And they're very open with communication for the most part. You pick somewhere like Ireland, down to again religious backgrounds and over respect for priests and teachers and guards and stuff like that, where it's like emotions were always suppressed. You never spoke up, you never questioned anything. Men were meant to be a certain way. All these type of things in our history and in our backgrounds and in the environment we grew up in has created a generation of men, a few generations of men where they don't communicate. And again, the impact of that, the negative impact of that is shown, especially in suicide rates, in depression, non-medication that people are on. Even kids are getting antidepressant medication now, which is just so wrong. And it's never talked about. Mental health is never actually talked about. And again, Men Aloud, I want to be talk about mental health all the time. I want to make it something that we speak about freely and openly, and we share our emotions and we communicate, because that is the only way that we're going to turn this around. Okay, this is a huge issue in modern society, and guys, you need to start speaking. I know myself, I spent all those years in a dark place where I spoke to no one about anything. People thought I was great, in great form, happy in myself, happy with life, happy with everything. And it was a complete total opposite. I didn't even want to be here. That's how where I was. But that's because I was closed emotionally. We weren't meant to be open emotionally. Okay. Give you even an example, like with my son, since he was small, I've been very conscious that, we express love to each other. So we'll always kiss, hug, say we love each other every time we're separating. If he's going somewhere or I'm going somewhere, on messages, we do that. And even for my father, that was kind of weird when he first saw us doing it. But it's just because I was very conscious of how important it was in every relationship to communicate, to communicate and express yourself and be very open. And like myself and my son have a very open relationship, and we share everything. I share everything with him, he shares everything with me. It's quite an unusual relationship, but again, this is the way it should be. We're just human beings. Every human being should be like that. We need to share openly. We need to be open with our emotions. If we need to cry, cry. If we need to shout, shout. If you need to laugh, laugh. Like, be open with it. Don't be suppressing. And as I said, even for my dad, it was quite weird. And he used to think there was something wrong with it initially. He didn't think it was right, because, like, for me growing up, he wouldn't have ever really hugged me. He wouldn't really have shown love, emotions in what we understand it to be. But that wasn't his fault. That was just a generation he grew up in, where men did not show emotions. Women would be like mothers and show emotions and love. Men did not do that. They did not do that. And it's something that has to change. It needs to change badly, because for those men and for any men who suppress emotions, it is not good for you. It's like a poison inside. It's like a poison for your soul. It's like a poison for your mind. Okay, so again, as I said, that's what Men Aloud is all about, to encourage you to express your emotions, to communicate better. And in terms of, you contributing to the show, you contributing yourself with your stories, with your struggles, with your questions. Remember, you can do it where you're literally on the screen here with me, where people can see you, or audio wise, or it could be just you email in, or it can be totally anonymous. Like, remember, this is a space where I want you to feel comfortable. So the main thing is reach out to me, or reach out to Lyra Media TV, and share your situation, whether it's a situation you're going through right now that you're really struggling with. And I know so many of you are struggling right now, and increasingly so for the last 13 months. And this is going to go on for much longer. Life in general is always tough, but the last 13 months has really amplified things massively. And this is why now is the time I've decided this show has to happen. That this Men Aloud is a necessity, but it'll only be beneficial if you are engaging as well and openly communicating. I need you to contact me or contact the show and let me know your story of struggle, whether you're experiencing it right now or whether you've experienced it in the past. And if you've got a story where you've gone from a dark place to now a really good place, that's the kind of story you want. That to be inspiring and be motivating, and For you, it'll be therapeutic even in itself as well. Like everyone wins. We need, as I said, to support each other. Okay. Now I spoke a bit earlier about how our mood is impacted by everything, our thought process. And for the remainder of this particular show, I want to speak to you about a few little tips and strategies that will help you to feel better within yourself. Remember, I said that self-love is a superpower, because that's exactly what it is. It is a complete superpower. When you have true self-love, you feel you can do anything. Like, I have huge self-love. I truly love myself. I love myself to bits. I love who I am. I love the unique person that I am, and I embrace my uniqueness. And that's something, again, that society batters down. Society tries to create a place where everyone is trying to be the same, where everyone feels they should be the same, where anyone different is like, nearly separated. There's something wrong with them, and they're meant to stand out, and they're segregated, which is totally wrong. But that's against society, and that's the divisiveness that's at play in many different areas of society, and has been for so long. And it's created these kind of ideologies in our heads of what's right and what's wrong, what we should look like, what we should do, what our behavior should be like, what we should believe. When the reality is, you should be totally immersing yourself into you. Who are you? Like, who am I? Who is Dave Sheahan? Who is he? Like, I was born, and I was a person, and I had a spirit and a soul, and I had an essence. Life and my environment and my experiences has added to that in good, bad ways. And it's been my responsibility to take the good out of those things and learn from the bad and so on. But there's an essence to me. Like, my soul screams for what it wants to be, and I need to be true to me, my values, and what my soul and my spirit actually is. And we are all different, we're all unique. And this is where most people struggle, in that they're trying to be someone else. They're not being themselves. And when you're not truly yourself, I can guarantee you, you can never be happy. You can never, ever be happy. Now, it is hard in today's society to be you, to truly be you and be yourself, because, again, for most people, elements of themselves or aspects, or entirely, would be very different to what society says we're supposed to be like, what we're supposed to look like, what we're supposed to wear, what we're supposed to say and do, what we're supposed to believe. But when you're true to yourself and true to your values, and true to, again, your spirit and your soul, it's so empowering. It's so empowering. You get so much energy from it. You'll be uplifted from it. You feel unbeatable. You take so little notice of what other people think. And one of the biggest issues for people's mental health is that, again, society has created this impression that you should care so much about what everyone else thinks. Like, how many times have you not done something because of what you thought someone else might think of what you did, and you didn't do it just in case? You may have really wanted to do something, but you didn't do it because of what others may think of you. Again, that's wrong. You should have just done it. We base so many of our decisions and our actions and our behaviors on what other people think. And true self-love is where you get to the point where you do not care. I truly do not care what other people think about what I do, what I say, who I am. Now, never do stuff that hurts other people, of course, but again, be the true essence of you. And have your beliefs, be true to your beliefs, have your values, live your life, live the way you want to live, say what you feel you need to say, be who you want to be. And like I said, be authentic. I live a life I feel is totally authentic. I live as authentically as I can. I share everything about my days across social media. I share everything, the good and the bad. When I have a bad day, I express it. When I have a good day, I express it. People see everything, warts and all. They see total authenticity. Now, that wasn't how it was 20-something years ago. I would have, again, been a bit of the keeping up the Joneses, certain images, caring a little bit about what people thought. But as time has gone on, I've worked on myself more and more. I've cared less and less and less, where I am in a point right now where I truly do not care what anyone thinks. If I believe something, I say it. If I want to do something, I do it. If I want to be something, I am it. If I want to look a certain way, dress a certain way, I will do it. I don't base my decisions on what other people think. Now, it takes time, as I said, to get to that point, but I want you to start taking steps towards it. And it starts again with self-love. How can you grow your self-love? Now, if you at the moment feel poor self-esteem, poor self-image, don't like how you look, you don't feel you've got good confidence, well, you need to, most importantly, start working on your mindset. Like, Men Aloud is largely about mental health, okay? That's going to be a massive part of this show on an ongoing basis. Your mind is a control tower. Now, if you don't work your mind, if you don't feed your mind right, how do you expect it to work the way you need it to? How do you expect it to work in a way that will serve you in being, embracing your own uniqueness, especially, and not caring about what other people think? You need to feed your mind. Look at what you're feeding your mind with. What type of material? What videos do you watch? What audios do you listen to? What books do you read? Or articles or papers. Who do you listen to? Who is in your ear? What type of material is going into your brain? What are you feeding it with? Is it mainly negativity, negative energy, negative emotions, negative people? I'm stressing people. Your circle, who is in your circle, is a huge influence on you. Like if you're in a dark place right now, really audit your circle. Those people who you associate with every single day and every week, are they people who are helping to drag you out of that dark place, or are they people who are keeping you in that dark place? Because this is something that's really important. Because if you're around the people who are as you are, you're never going to get out. This is why we need to be around people who inspire us, who motivate us, educate us, who uplift us, who give us a vision of what we can be and what things can be like. So be very clear on that. If you're around people who are constantly negative and always talking negative and always expecting the worst of everything and always glass half empty and this type of mentality, it's never going to help you to get out of where you are. Positive mind feed is massive. The biggest step you can take is stop consuming media, mainstream media. It's the biggest thing you can do. Stop watching TV and soap operas, all those things. That is complete negative mind feed. Doesn't mean you won't be still in touch with what's going on in the world. You will be, but you need to stop consuming the negativity. When did you last hear a positive news story? It is such a rarity. I'm 43 years of age, and I probably can count in one hand the amount of positive news stories I've heard on mainstream media in my lifetime. Maximum two hands, but I'd imagine it's one hand. That is a reflection of its constant negativity. Just like soap operas. Are they enlightening and fun, or are they mainly negative? Mainly negative, right? So these things are not serving us. So you need to be selective of what goes into your brain, what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're reading, who you're listening to. Start adding people who serve your life, who serve your values, who serve your beliefs, who are in line with you and who you are and what you want to do and what you want to be. It's so important. I can give you no more important step than that. I've had over my life many times I've literally had to eliminate certain people from my life, whether it be forever or for certain periods of time. And that's even include family and friends. There's been certain phases in my life where I've been going through a phase where they were not serving a purpose in helping me to climb out of holes and helping my mind to be positive. I had to eliminate. Other times you have to limit exposure to, especially when it comes to family. You may not be able to eliminate, maybe you shouldn't eliminate, but you need to limit your exposure, or you learn how to cope better than when you're in certain people's company. You know how they react, you know the kind of conversations they have, you know the type of things they say, you know the type of beliefs they have. You don't go to those places. That's something that's important to do. Don't go to those places. And if they happen to bring up kind of topics or questions or issues that you don't want to immerse in because you know where it's going to go, the negative energy that's going to be created, then what you need to do is just deflect away from it. Deflect away onto another topic, or just clearly say, I'm not speaking about that and go on to something else. Take control. Remember, focus on what you can control. You can control who you are around. You can control who you listen to. You can control what you read. You can control what you watch. You can control the people who are in your life, and more importantly, the exposure you have to those people. So we need to start getting control of that, because as well, think it from the mood point of view. Like, when you're around the wrong people, your energy is off, the chemicals in your body are wrong, and you don't feel good. Like, think about someone right now who you don't like being around, but you're around regularly. Now, if you think about now, you're going to meet them in 1 hour, how do you feel? Even now, this far off, even though you're not even near them, you start to feel a little low thinking about you're going to be with them. Maybe a bit anxious, maybe a bit upset, maybe a bit angry, depending on the situation. But negative emotions are starting to overcome you. What's that going to do to your mood? It's going to bring your mood right down, right? It's bring your energy right down, it's bring your emotional state right down. And when we bring our emotional state down, it gets harder to bring it back up. When we're operating at a low vibrational state, it's very hard for us to take action. We usually take the wrong actions, or it's inaction. Our behaviors are not good, our decisions are not good. This is why whenever something brings your emotional state down, we need to bring it back up to a level. It's the same as if it gets too high. When you get too high, think of times when you got too high with life, something has happened that's been amazing, but you've let yourself get like way stratosphere in terms of emotionally. You need to bring yourself back down, because when you're at such a high level, there's only one way you're going, and it's down. And once you're on that downward path, it's going to feel way worse. So what you need to do is keep it a level emotional state. When you get too high, bring yourself down. When you get too low, bring yourself back up. Now, this is a practice. It's not something that's easy to do. It's something you get in the habit of doing. It's like negative thoughts. When you've got negative thoughts, you have to hit it with a positive thought. So when you've got self-sabotaging thoughts, or thoughts that are attacking you, about you and who you are and how you look and stuff like that, you have to hit it with positive thoughts. Okay. These are all little practices that once you start doing, I can guarantee you will feel the benefit of. But you have to start doing them. That is the key. Okay. Like, it's great you're watching this, but it's like any form of information. Information is powerful, but it's only powerful if you use it. Okay. And Men Aloud, again, is a show that's to give you information that when you implement it, it will have a positive impact in your life, and especially on your mental health and your mindset. But also, as I said, a platform for you to reach out and ask questions, share your story, share your positive stories, share your challenges, share your obstacles, share whatever you want, and either anonymously or with your name, be helped. Like, I'm here to help you in every way I possibly can. There's 4 areas that you need to really focus on. I have 5 in my hand there. 4. You need to work on your mindset. You need to work on exercise. You need to work on nutrition. You need to work on sleep. Now, there's many areas overall, and there's many areas within that, but those 4 areas you need to work on. I'm just going to briefly touch on them right now. I've said about mindset so much, and I can't stress enough to you the mindset, because it is your control tower. So when you're in a bad place, when you're in a bad space, when mentally you're feeling very low, when emotionally you're feeling very low, you have to work on your mindset. As I've been saying, look at what you're consuming, look at what kind of information you're consuming, and start changing it. Okay. I listen to Positive Mind Feed every opportunity. I take care of me first, the first hour of my day from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. I'm listening to Positive Mind Feed. I'm on a walk. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do for the day, but I've Positive Mind Feed blasting in. When I'm cooking or baking, blasting in. When I'm training, blasting in. If I'm having to go somewhere, traveling, whether it be walking or driving or in a bus or anything, Positive Mind Feed blasting in. When I'm working and I'm doing stuff that doesn't take huge concentration, blasting in. All this stuff in the background. I have stuff that's feeding my mind positivity and positive energy and uplifting stuff and motivational stuff and educational stuff. So that's something I can control. That's something you can control. So start controlling that side. Work on your mind. And like I said, if you get negative thoughts, hit them with positive thoughts. Again, to practice, just get into a habit and then it happens automatically. Exercise, that is medicine for your mind. Okay? Whenever you feel a bit low, whenever you feel anxious, agitated, upset, any form of negative emotions, do some exercise. It may be the last thing you feel like doing, but I can guarantee you 100%, something that's 100% guaranteed. If you exercise at these times, your mood will be elevated. You will feel better. I can guarantee you 100%. These are the times you need to use it. And as I said, it's medicine for your mind, medicine for your brain. So when you feel low, when you feel anxious, when you feel upset, when you have any kind of negative emotions, exercise. Even if it's only for 10 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be for very long. It's just important that you do some. Okay? Nutrition, 20% of the calories you consume go to your brain. So you're either feeding your brain McDonald's and Diet Coke, or you're feeding your brain smoothies and healthy, nutritious salads, stir fries, casseroles, all this kind of stuff. What are you feeding your brain? 20% of calories go there. Can you just imagine the difference to having a brain that's fed by chocolate and crisps and processed foods and McDonald's and Coke and such? Imagine the difference between how the brain works is fed with that crap versus the brain that's fed with, loads of fruits and vegetables and legumes and good grains and all this kind of stuff. Can you just imagine the difference? And that's only for one day, it'll have an impact. Imagine consistently the impact it's having day after day, week after week, year after year. This is why there's so many issues out there. A lot of the issues, even in terms of mood and emotional states, is down to what we're consuming. Other thing is water. Our brain is 83% water. It doesn't retain water. So if you're not adequately hydrated, your brain won't be hydrated. If your brain isn't adequately hydrated, it can't function optimally. So it's not working the way it should. So even something as simple as increasing your water intake will increase your mood. You increase your mood, you suddenly feel much better. You suddenly want to take certain actions, behave in a different way, make better decisions. Your life improves. You get that little spark. You get that little, progressive step. That leads to another. It's like a snowball. This is why I'm stressing to you, just take small steps in the right direction. If you're listening to this and you're at a low point in your life, focus on what's next. What can I possibly do to take a positive step in the right direction? Just tiny. It doesn't matter how big it is. For all of us, it's about moving forward. Focus on what can I do to move forward. Sleep is the fourth one. Your sleep is massive. If you're not getting good quality sleep, then your brain won't function right. Sleep is where you regenerate, you rejuvenate. All these things, it's where your body rejuvenates and regenerates itself. Your brain gets a break. You have to get quality sleep. You should be getting, 6 minimum, 7, 8 ideally, quality hours of sleep. In other episodes, I'll go into more depth about how to get quality sleep. especially if that's something you'd be interested in finding out more about. But the main thing is having a sleep cycle, a certain type of bedtime, certain waking time, and not using your devices before sleep, because all the radiation and electromagnetic frequency is keeping your brain running 90s while you're going to sleep. So if I walk into a room, your vessel looks asleep, your vessel being your body, but your brain isn't. And if your brain isn't asleep, then you're not going to go into deep sleep, which is a necessity to get quality sleep and rejuvenation. And if you don't have that, then the next day you're going to be tired and you're going to have your mood affected, which affects your actions, your behaviors, your decisions. It's all like a domino effect. And you see how important each of these little things are? It's absolutely massive. So it's so important for us to get really focused on, working in these areas. Like if you get control of your mind, body, and health, I can guarantee you 100% it will positively impact every other area of life, because it's like a catalyst. But the problem for people is they don't focus on mind, body, and health. And that again is why I stress these things to you on this show. And I will every single show. And guests I have on, I'm sure, are going to stress the importance of how it saved them. I have some guests lined up who have come from very dark places, but they've now met something of it and they now are in a great place. But I can guarantee you on their journey, focusing on getting control of mind, body, and health played a huge role. Okay. So focus on improving your mindset, focus on exercising regularly, especially at times when you don't feel like doing it and you need a boost. Focus on your nutrition, including hydration, and focus on your sleep. Okay. So I hope you've got something from what I shared on this week's Men Aloud show. As I've stressed to you, self-love is everything. So work on self-love, put you first, prioritize yourself, prioritize small steps in the right direction, and focus on mind, body, health area of your life. And as I said, contact me, contact the show, let us know your questions, share your stories. If you'd like to come on literally with me on the show, fantastic. If you'd be happy to share your story, like writing it out or on a phone call, and then I speak about it, that's perfect. If you want to be anonymous, that's perfect. Whatever helps you. Remember, this is a space for men to communicate better and more openly, and to share emotions and to get better at expressing their emotions and feeling it's okay. Because the bottom line, men who express their emotions and communicate openly are the brave ones, not the weak ones like society tells you. Society tells you that being emotional and sharing your emotions and even crying and things like that and communicating love and so on is weak. That is garbage. It's brave. It's not weak, especially when we've had our emotions suppressed for so long, for so many generations. The time for change is now. I want to be part of that change. I want to be the stimulation for the change. Okay. So this is Dave Sheahan here, signing off for Men Aloud here on Lear Media TV. Make sure you check out previous episode. Make sure you tune into future episodes, and also check out all the great shows that are on Lear Media TV, and we have some exciting stuff coming up. Have a good one. Keep focused on your mental health. Remember what goes on between these ears? It's the control tower.